Hello everybody, my name is Alec Mendoza and today we're going to be discussing climate change. So climate change is global warming driven by human-made emissions of greenhouse gases that over time create changes in the weather. So global warming for humans has become a complex, fast, ever-growing, inevitable emergency that nobody seems to have under control. So today there are no effective solutions unless that means that we put an end to certain practices that emit greenhouse gases. So today in America, climate change in politics has become a key issue where a lot of liberals and conservatives are really split upon because we don't know what to do with the issue, and a lot of us don't believe in the issue at all. But in the end, we're losing the battle to climate change. So today, on a global scale, we have established structures like the Paris Agreement, which according to www.greenmatters.com, the Paris Agreement was signed in December 12, 2015, which defines goals to diminish the curve of global temperature rise, and nearly every country on Earth has signed on to the agreement and now has 197 countries signed on. So, here, all the countries have signed on to agree to keep the global temperature below 1.5 degrees Celsius. Although the Paris Agreement acknowledges global warming, it doesn't acknowledge key elements such as coal, oil, gas, fossil fuels, which this is really important because it is understood by a lot of people that these industries that create these elements are the ones that contribute the most to global warming and their emissions of greenhouse gases. So it should be at the center of our attention that they're the main ones that are causing greenhouse gases and they're not being held responsible for their actions or their waste. And this is really important because it should be at the heart of protecting the Earth from an ecological crisis. The reason why that these industries don't want to be held accountable is because they don't want to lose profit, and it's not in their best interest to lose profit in their company just to save the planet, which sounds a little shallow, but the reality is that humanity is denying that we're facing an oncoming disaster from a measurable amount of people that will suffer from this. The simple solution is to stop the emissions of greenhouse gases, yet the question is far more complex. So, the situation of global warming demands for a systemic change rather than an individual change. Most solutions to prevent climate change outside from these industries are not making a big enough impact to prevent or slow down the effects of global warming. The issue is not how much is recycled, it's how much unforgivable waste is produced. Many people go vegetarian with the intentions of not participating in global warming, but the issue prevails and it doesn't end global warming from occurring. So did you know that according to www.bloomberg.com, that meat consumption is the major contributor to global warming, as it produces nearly 15% of carbon dioxide emissions into the earth, and that actually exceeds the amount of pollution from air travel, like airplanes. So a big chunk of our greenhouse gases are coming from meat production. While being healthy and partaking in vegetarianism is implaudable by some, it's not enough to save the planet. The waste from meat consumption is mass-produced regardless, and it's responsible for chemically invasive agriculture practices that deplete soils and pollute seas and rivers. So the methods of recycling that we use today have been dysfunctional since its foundation, and this is a major problem. So this brings me to my third main point, that another flawed solution is solar-powered windmills, which creates huge amounts of plots of lands that are often opposed by local communities that wish to preserve neighboring wildlife. So a lot of people believe that windmills will help global warming, but that's not actually the case. Windmills are retrospectively a threat to wildlife, and most notably invasive to birds that are often killed by flying into them. So all of our solutions so far that want to help global warming demand improvement, and currently innovation is not moving fast enough to keep up with quickly escalating global warming. According to www.quillet.com, we currently view solar panels as the best option, but there is no established plan to deal with the remains of them at the end of their 20 to 25 year lifespan. So solar panels are being used, but after they're completely used up, they're just waste, and there's no plan to dispose of them, which actually adds to more global warming. So transportation has also been a crucial element in the emissions of greenhouse gases. In current times, we use 100 million barrels of oil daily, and there's no politics to change that. For now, gases are most popular, abundant, and valued form of energy that gives us enough to keep us content, but it's still not sustainable. So this is why it's very criticized. So in conclusion, the ecological crisis demands for systemic change rather than an individual change, but that's not to say that you can't have one without the other. Unless we recognize our failures to protect the planet in the current state it is from an irreversible chain simply caused by 1.5 or more degree of warming. Either we change our practices as a whole, or we discover the consequences of global warming tomorrow. This is important to understand because it's an issue that we'll all face in the near future. Thank you guys for listening. Bye. I hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you. Bye.